Welcome to our Tell Us Your Story series. Here we spotlight inspiring success stories from criminal justice professionals who have taken their experience with our training from classroom theory to real-life application in their cases and communities. We are inspired by the work you do and know that by highlighting your stories, more lives can be saved. I'm 𝗚𝗏𝗄𝗧𝗏 with the National Criminal Justice Training Center of Fox Valley Technical College. Thanks for joining us for another episode in our Tell Us Your Story series. This episode follows the journey of an agency in Iowa that got creative as they worked to overcome significant gaps in their child abduction response. We're excited to sit down with Adam DeCamp, Special Agent in charge with the Division of Criminal Investigation with Iowa Public Safety. Welcome, Adam. I know you have extensive experience with missing children cases. You were an investigator, now you're a division leader. So let's start there. How have those experiences shaped your approach to handling these cases?
Yeah, I think it's a great question because I think one of the most important pieces when trying to locate missing children is remembering what the mission is, and that is to recover the missing child. And as an investigator, sometimes it's easy to get lost in that moment. It's easy to get lost in things like, I need to find the child and I need to make an arrest and I need to have answers. Where in reality, as a supervisor, now I can look back on that from a different perspective and say, yeah, finding the answers, having someone held accountable if that's what's necessary are important, but nothing is more important than finding the child. And so having been in both roles, I think I have the great perspective of what really is necessary to meet the ultimate mission of a child abduction response team or of anyone trying to find a missing child, and that is to make them found.
Make them found. It's simple, but it's absolutely at the heart of this work. You mentioned your child abduction response team. Tell us about that team and those dynamics.
The first things I can remember and even find are, 2012 as a state, we decided to put together a child abduction response team. And it was kind of that standard child abduction response team, multidisciplinary, multi-jurisdictional, but we had 99 counties to cover. So when we launched and went live in 2013, we had some holes that were just inherently created.
You mentioned holes in the process. What kind of challenges were you seeing?
Every time a new police chief came in, every time a new sheriff, a new emergency manager, we really needed to go out and get a new memorandum of understanding, a new working order so we could continue to train and be together. And that created a lot of challenges for us because that was a full-time job. Iowa has 99 counties. There's 400 or so law enforcement agencies and 600 fire departments. How many 99 emergency managers. So there was a lot of challenges of just staying on top of the basic paperwork, let alone making sure everyone had the training necessary to function. And kind of as a result, our child abduction response team was not everything that we felt that it could be.
Hundreds of agencies responsible for the entire state of Iowa, processes that didn't fit, and training that didn't meet your needs. What next?
Along came 2020 and a pandemic, and maybe one of the positives that came out of the pandemic was this opportunity to focus on things maybe we hadn't been focusing on as strongly as we should have. And that one of those things for me was the child abduction response team. And I had been put in charge of it a year before, and so I was able to kind of step back. I had been an investigator in the child abduction response team. Now I was going to be a supervisor of it. And so I took the opportunity to step back, take a look and say, hey, how can we make the child abduction response team in Iowa as great as possible?
I want to take a moment to recognize your team on achieving 2023 CART certification. You're only the 36th in the country. Beyond the training and the prep, what did striving to be as great as possible look like for your team during that process?
And what we came up with is a model that's a single agency model. And that single agency means that Iowa Department of Public Safety, all 900 members, which is sworn and non-sworn members of the agency, are somehow, some way, shape, or form involved or able to be deployed as part of a CART response. As a Department of Public Safety responsible for the entire state, we were able to go out and use established relationships We work with the sheriffs and the police departments on a daily basis. We work routinely with fire departments and with emergency managers. And so we were able to build on those relationships and say, hey, if there is a child abduction in the state of Iowa or a need for a child abduction response team in the state of Iowa, we will deploy as a Department of Public Safety to your area, and we will augment the base of child abduction response team with the services and relationships that we already have within those local communities.
It sounds like collaborative relationships are at the heart of all of this.
That is, these agencies, they know their communities, they know the back roads and the alleyways and the waterways, they know all of that, which is great for searching. But when we come in, and we come in with the organization, we come in with the personnel, we come in with the resources, they're able to come in and support us and say, hey, if you deploy here, this is what you're going to see, this is what the terrain looks like. And they give us a really great feel. It's just an excellent partnership we have with our locals.
You've mentioned training a couple of times and shared how it plays a key role in your ability to respond to these cases. Can you share more about your specific experience with NCJTC?
I think the first awareness would have been through training. Through the online training, it was through emails that advertised the training, and it was through the training that I attended. That's the first way that I really became aware. However, it then became through relationships once again, which, as we know in law enforcement and child abduction response, relationships are what matter. And it's relationships that were built over the years with people like 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝘀𝗄 that provided me more exposure to NCJTC and its role that it plays in training law enforcement officers.
Derek is definitely an amazing instructor, an expert in CART, and he does a nice job taking his own personal and professional experiences and then translating them to the classes he teaches. What's one of the biggest takeaways you've gotten from the classes you've taken?
When you're being trained by the subject matter expert, someone who's not only can talk the talk, but they've walked the walk. They've been there with that phone call in the middle of the night. They've been with those families who are facing the uncertainty. And having those folks stand in front of you and say, hey, this is what I did, this is where we were successful, but also these were lessons we learned where we could be more successful the next time, is invaluable, because it provides you not only the perspective that we're all in this together, but it provides you that perspective that we don't have to be perfect, but we have to be in this together, and we have to be committed to the cause, and we have to be dedicated to bringing those children home. And that's what having the SMEs, or the subject matter experts, in front of us really means.
You've attended several other NCJTC training courses over the years in addition to CART. Investigative strategies in child abduction cases, our national Amber Alert symposiums, ICAT courses, and more. How do you think these work together to help you in your day-to-day?
There's definitely the intermingling of each course, which I think is why it's so valuable to have a central hub like NCJTC, where everyone can go to and branch out from, because there is the overlap. You can't talk about recovering a child if you don't also have the reunification piece, and you can't have a reunification piece if you don't have a sustainability piece. So it's really important to have those mixed together. And I think from every training I've been to, from everyone I've talked to who's been to additional trainings or separate trainings, it's the same feeling that we all get.
Let's shift to real-world impact. You mentioned a few recent successes, including how your team coordinated with other agencies to locate and safely recover a missing 5-year-old just hours after she was reported missing. What do you think made that response so effective?
I think what really was important in that case, as has been important in so many other cases, that is the confidence that comes along with it, the networking that comes along with it, the training that comes along with it. That it's the understanding that this is not just another case. This is really where focus and attention and professionalism and preparedness all come together to bring missing children home.
The nature of this work can be both incredibly challenging and rewarding. Why do you do this?
You know, I'm a lifelong Iowan. I have 2 children of my own, grown children now, a grandchild on the way. And I think that really what keeps me going, what gets me doing this, is I would want someone to do this for me. And I would want someone to do this for my family, someone to do this for my neighbors. And I have the opportunity to do that. And so that's what keeps me going in this. That's why I'm passionate about child abduction response teams. That's why I'm passionate about the training and relationships that we build. Because at any moment, we all, have, as parents, I guess, have had this feeling you turn around and your child's not there. And it's a frightening moment, whether it's at the grocery store or the state fair or the shopping mall, it doesn't matter. You turn around, you have that moment, your heart skips a beat, and then all of a sudden it races and your blood pressure goes up and you start to panic. And I can't imagine what that's like when a child is truly missing, when they're gone for hours or gone for days. And I want to be there for them, and I want to provide them answers and safety and security for those children once they are recovered.
I think you're right. I'm a parent too. And we have all had moments like that. Usually, of course, it turns out fine, but you have to ensure you're prepared for the alternative. As you reflect on your experience with NCJTC, what has played the biggest role?
The confidence piece. It's the understanding that even when a child is missing in rural Iowa, there are resources available. And not only resources in that rural community, the surrounding counties and the state, but there's a nationwide network of folks that you have the opportunity to reach out and have a conversation with. In the middle of the night, I've made phone calls 10, 11 o'clock at night and said, this is what we have, what do you think? I'm confident in my abilities, but it's always great to know that there are other folks out there who have the same training, who are maybe more experienced, who maybe have more insight and definitely have a different perspective that you can bounce things off of. And again, the relationships, the networking, create the confidence, which adds to the success of child abduction response efforts.
Now, you just said something that perfectly highlights two key components of a successful child abduction response team: effective training and strong relationships. As a leader, what advice would you give other agencies on how to prioritize ongoing development and training opportunities for their teams?
Understanding that training budgets and training hours are hard to come by. This is child abduction investigation is unlike any other investigation. The pressure, the intensity, the unpredictability, there's so many variables that go into a child abduction that can't be trained for, but they can be prepared for. And so if we can prepare for it, if agencies can invest a little time into that training and into that preparedness, the response and the results, I believe, are going to follow and be successful results. And that's really is important. And the way that training is provided today. Look, I've been in law enforcement for almost 30 years. I remember when everything was you had to have a butt in a seat in a classroom with 25, 35, 45 other people. Today, I can get onto the NCJTC website. I can log in. I can go find the video that is pertinent to me. I can allow that video to play. I can be trained in the moment while I'm sitting in a briefing room, while I'm on my break, while it's a snowy night sitting along the roadside. I can find the time to do it. And if I need to step away and respond to a need of the public, I can do that. I can pause the video, go do what I need to do, and I can come back.
Adam, thank you so much for taking time to share your experience, successes, and reflections with our team and with those watching. Before we wrap up, are there any last-minute thoughts or reflections you'd like to add?
I think the one thing that's really important is child abduction response, missing children affect all communities. It's not large communities, it's not small communities, it's all communities. And any officer who can be better trained, better prepared for if it happens in their community is great. But they know it's going to happen. Those same officers know it's going to happen in a community around them. And those officers can provide a resource maybe to another officer who isn't as trained up as they are, or who isn't as aware as they are. And it's reciprocal. And the law enforcement, we do a great job of helping each other. This is just another opportunity. So the trainings that you can go to live, in person or online are really going to benefit more than just one or two people. They're going to impact hundreds and thousands of folks.
As you can see, Adam's story shines a light on what's possible when passion, ongoing training, process improvement, and strong relationships meet. For additional insights on case outcomes and their creative approach to CART, please click on the link below or visit ncjtc.org/tellus-your-story. If you're inspired by what you've heard today and want to share your own success story, we would love to hear from you.